Hello and welcome, guys. Thank you for joining me again for another night of Facebook Live. I also want to recognize those that catch me on the replay from YouTube and or SoundCloud. It is indeed a blessing to be here with you tonight. I am your host, Tricia Bray Smith, author, educator, and public speaker. We have with us here tonight the queen herself, Miss August Crenshaw.
Hi, Ann.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. We are grateful you are here with us tonight. As tonight, we are talking about why you are worthy of abundance. Now,
Yes.
we know that Miss Crenshaw is hosting the Worthy of Abundance Summit. And I've been telling you guys to make sure you get your ticket. And so now tonight, it's all about Miss Crenshaw and the summit. And get your questions ready. If you have questions, leave your comments, say hello, let us know you're here. And if nothing else, Miss Crenshaw, go ahead and say hello tonight to everyone.
Well, hello, y'all. It's late, so y'all better come on through and let's kick it and let's have some fun and let's talk. Okay, I see Aisha and I see Lynn and I don't know who else is coming, but no, I'm excited to have this discussion because, I get tired of cliches. I don't want people to say I'm worthy of abundance. I want us to truly have the dialogue around whether or not our actions are embodying that that's what we really believe about the journey. So I'm looking forward to having a really candid conversation tonight.
Oh, yes, ma'am. I just believe in the vision for this. I believe that many of us, whether we want to admit it or not, sometimes we have that feeling that we are just not worthy of anything good. But we were promised abundance. And so that's what it's all about. So I'm just curious to know how you come up with the theme worthy of abundance.
Well, this theme in particular, honestly, that was just literally a divine download. I was doing the summit at the end of December, and because that's usually when this is had, I do this. It's usually in the late fall or in winter, and I knew that the Business Mastery Summit was coming, but it hit me not to wait and to do it right away. And worthy of abundance was the topic that came to mind, and so I just ran with it. A lot of times I get the topic, and then from there I put out the word, and then based on the speakers that apply and reply, and I'm able to realize exactly what the summit is to be about and let it take its full shape. So I found in the past, if I have tried to have a little bit too much control over the flow, that it still ends up working out the way that it's supposed to because of the people that are naturally drawn to the movement. Because you can't be a speaker just because you speak well. You can't be a speaker just because you want an opportunity to be on a platform, just because your email list is yay big. You truly have to embody the essence of what this movement is about. Because I would rather have the quantity over the quality. And so it took form all on its own.
Awesome. Well, yeah, sometimes I think as entrepreneurs or as business people, sometimes we get a little lost in the concept of things sometimes. And sometimes we want to look at the numbers rather than what can the people really get out of this? What can they gain from this? And so I'm honored. I'm honored just to have an opportunity to be a part of it. I am looking to see people's lives literally transform through this platform. Now, there's an array of topics and subject matters that are going to be discussed through this summit. So tell me some of the ones that come to your mind right now, what reaches out to you and how it applies to your vision.
Well, absolutely. Of course, financial abundance, right? Because that's the first trigger. People are like, that's right, I deserve the money. And so one of the ladies is going to actually speak about her evolution with actually realizing that she was worthy of financial abundance. And the irony is as a financial advisor, she was not experiencing that. And so that's a really good topic, not just because it's about monetary gains, but a lot of times women don't realize that the very field that you're in is the one that you get attacked with. So if you do mindset work, your mindset gets attacked. If you're a financial advisor, your finances get attacked. If you're a health coach, then you may be battling some issues when it comes to food, or even though you may overcome them and you may be better at handling them and recognize the triggers, but a lot of times people begin to feel unworthy, because if I'm being challenged in this area, now all of a sudden I believe I'm disqualified. It's really not the fact that you're dealing with a challenge, it's how you respond to the challenge that proves that you're qualified. Several of the speakers are dealing with, rape and or molestation and the different manifestations of it. Some people are dealing with actual mental blockages and memory losses, even though they're aware that the abuse occurred. And that one right there is a really tricky one, because some people don't like to let you have that one. Oh, if you can't prove it. And we have a very intense dialogue around why some women actually block that kind of thing out. One woman is even looking at it how after even becoming a survivor, a thriver, and starting organizations, how the re-triggers come every single time she wants to evolve in her level of execution on her in her dream. We're looking at a lack of family support. What does that look like? How are you going to feel like you're worthy of abundance when your own family is literally telling you like, that's what you did, whatever, or you're not going to be. Some people have literally been told, you don't need to do that. You're not going to be successful at that, or the support isn't there. We have a gentleman who's opening up about being in an abusive relationship, predominantly more so mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, but there are some accounts of some physical abuse. We're talking about basic things: body image, self-esteem, relationship issues. That we're not talking about rape and molestation. We're not talking about not being in a two-parent home. We're talking about coming in from a two-parent home and still trying to deal with religious crises, religious standards, and, loving your own body and developing relationships, worthiness for marriage, and things of that nature. People are separating, having to get out of financially, emotionally abusive relationships. One woman in particular relocated her entire family during the middle of a pandemic. So she went through a separation, and is now going through a divorce. And she had to go hundreds and hundreds of miles away from everything that was familiar. So there's a lot that's being discussed, and it's these emotional things that women would like to try to make it seem like it's separate. But it all comes back and impacts your mindset, whether how you show up, or if you do or don't show up at all, whether or not you do or don't collaborate, whether or not you do or don't have healthy relationships. It impacts you in business because it's all connected.
I've never heard it spoken so plain. And you covered an array of issues that we deal with from day to day. Now, we may not be dealing with it all, but there is something that you mentioned there that I know that we have all been impacted one way or another.
Oh,
And one
yeah.
of them are just as serious as the other, regardless, because when we have these issues, they do affect how we show up, just like you said. It affects how we show up and how we conduct ourselves in our business and every other aspect of our life. So, in 3 days, 4 days, August 5th through 8th, this summit is going down, guys. It is virtual. She's bringing it to you. And if you haven't already got your ticket, it is time for you to consider getting your ticket. I'm interested in knowing how this summit will help some of the young 20, I'm looking at some of the age group between 20 and 30, the new entrepreneurs that are showing up on the scene. How can this summit help benefit someone who is just starting out a business and really just getting into the thick of life and having these things resurface? what is this summit going to do for someone in that bracket?
It's definitely going to release a bunch of stereotypes, break some cycles, and break some curses. And I say that because looking at us as older women, because predominantly most of us are 40 and above. There's a couple of people that are, mid to early 30s, but to see us having the conversation about what we're really dealing with instead of playing this super strong,
Yeah,
badass black woman, that's already a level of liberation right there. And so for them to say, okay, hold up, wait a minute, I don't have to have this all together and I don't have to be perfect. And I was thinking that, oh, August is just strong and well put. Oh, I didn't know she was dealing with that. That's something else. And as a matter of fact, specifically because there are two segments that actually deal with the abuse of power
yeah.
and the abuse of poor coaching relationships. So that was another topic. So those are specifically business related so that people understand the red flags to look for and why you don't get into specific types of programs or deal with specific types of coaches. And so younger people usually also have that issue with bumping heads against people who are in authoritative positions who also don't do a very good job of listening very well. And another thing, younger people nowadays are a lot more flexible and open spiritually. And unfortunately, because most of us have a predominantly Christian background, they are black sheeps of the family or they're looked upon as weird, but they really don't have the same beliefs that may have been passed on from my grandmother or her mother's mother. And so you're also going to see liberation with that because those are some other topics that will end up being discussed. And many of these women are looking back at situations that happened to them in their adolescent and teenage years. So let's not also forget that the millennials, they got their stories from, unfortunately, from their adolescent and their teenage years as well. And so they're going to see, whoa, 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 whoa. Before I let myself go from 20 to 30 to 40, let me go ahead and work on getting this healing and work through this situation now.
That is so well put because I act as a mentor of some sort with some of the young entrepreneurs, and that's important for me that I practice that transparency and share and try to help others along. But when you mention bad coaching and things like that, and abuse of leadership and other things like that, these are scars that we have. And many of us don't realize that those scars hurt just as much as being violated as a young child, because now we're an adult trying to do right and we look up to other people to lead us or to be honest with us and things like that. And people abuse that power or manipulate or betray, and it does affect us. And so we try to go through this business thing alone because we feel
Mhm.
like at that point no one wants to help us or we feel rejected in that. So I like that this summit is going to open up a whole new world of transparency,
Mhm.
vulnerableness, because we don't see that a lot, especially in our culture. We look at people that are older, looking at people that are have some level of success in their business. And really, in our minds, we portray them as being perfect. There's this image of perfection and that they haven't gone through nothing. So, how can they help me? And so, that is why I believe this summit is going to liberate so many of us because I believe all of the speakers that you've chosen for the platform are transparent. And I believe that many of them are sharing things that they may have never shared before.
Well, a lot of them aren't because number one, what's really brilliant about the summit this time around is that a great portion of the speakers are actually going through what they're talking about. Okay. Like I said, one of the women, I said she moved her family during the pandemic. And so it's one thing to talk about past circumstances. It's another thing to talk about how you've had to transform and reframe your mind in the midst of a circumstance. And to be honest with you, just to make sure it's really plain for the onlooker. Oh, it's not a question about vulnerability at all, because you can't be on the platform and not be vulnerable. If anybody that's watching now that may be connected to you, that may have followed me already, from months back since you share my videos, they would be like, this woman just speaks what's on her mind. If I'm having a good day, I'm honest. I say it's a good day. If it's a bad day, I'm honest. If I say I'm a tad bit perturbed, I'm honest. I don't let life circumstances rule me, but I do not come out here and portray this excellent, perfect leader who has it all together, because I understand how damaging that is and how it will set people back. And so when the people are speaking, if they're not very vulnerable or transparent, I'll say things like, now, hold up, hold up, hold up. You saying like things was hectic. No, I'm gonna need you to make it plain. Or you say, "Oh, I lost everything." What does everything mean? I need you to go ahead and say it was the house, the car, the cat, the dog, your bank account. I need you to make the picture very, very, very plain. So the speakers don't have the ability to be a part of this summit and not come all the way fully open. And there are a couple of speakers that have said to me, you are one of them, that was like, I haven't even opened up about this, period. And so you have to you need the vulnerability in order for the healing to be there. But then that's also a huge honor for people to say, I feel like this was a trustworthy enough space to allow this portion of my story, to come out. And so that's the other thing too, that will help a lot of women, to show them that you do want to make sure you're in a safe space, but you absolutely can get your freedom. You absolutely can be free. And it'll give them some opportunities of some great people to connect with, that they vibe to say, okay, well, this is that hub where I'm going to seek my freedom.
Oh yeah, yeah, and you said it there, freedom. Once we reach that spot, there is no turning back. That is a level of peace that when I think about it and I look back, I don't see any reason to go back. There is a freedom in sharing what we've been through. There is a freedom in uh, helping others overcome what they're going through and what they've been through, because we all still have struggles. And even at your level of success and some of the things that I've been able to accomplish in life, also, we have to understand how important it is for us to band together as women and to be able to hear each other's stories and to be able to sit down the judgment and things like that and begin to embrace one another. I'm sure you've had to have somebody that you can lean on um, leading up into this point, because even planning the summit and uh, putting the pieces of this stuff together, you're having to hear these stories over and over again. And I'm sure that it can cause other things to surface in our lives. But again, even through all of that, our life continues to happen as well. And you're also a speaker on this platform that you're doing, right? So you're
Yes.
also sharing.
Oh yeah, no, I always make sure that basically I'm going to model whatever it is that I have as the expectation. And so I always let one of the speakers interview me so that they can exercise that same level of candor, during the conversation, because it is to the utmost important that people see that I'm also doing the exact same thing.
All right. So the Worthy of Abundance Summit, it's going down August 5th through 8th. It is a virtual summit. So once you get your ticket, you will have access to this content, guys. So even if you're not available on those days, it is important that you get your ticket. August, do you have your link that you can share with us to
Yeah,
get our tickets for this summit?
I'm going to put it in the comments.
Okay, so there in the comment section here in a second, guys, there it is. It just popped up. You will see the link to get your tickets. I mean, if it's something you can make out of a girls' night, if it's something to where that you have issues or challenges in life that you want to, or you need to hear it from the safety of somebody else's story to help you process the blueprint of your own life. I encourage you to get your tickets now. Do not wait. Get your tickets. It's $37. It is the best $37 you're going to spend in this 2020, guys. I promise you it is. Um, Miss August Crenshaw, anything else you'd like to leave us with tonight? Something you'd like to just share with us? Maybe I haven't asked the question and it's something that you'd like to share.
Just a little bit of clarity, because I found that so many people still don't really necessarily understand what virtual events are. They're getting the gist of it now, since so many people are meeting on Zoom and things of that nature. But it doesn't make a difference what you've experienced before, because I promise you, you're not going to experience something
That's
like
right.
this. Because I have deliberately looked at everything that happens in the industry and said, what can I do that makes this a cut above? How can I raise the bar? And so, yes, there is a scheduled viewing, and it does make it a very potent experience if you can mark your calendar like you were going out of town for an online conference to watch as many of the videos with us as they're going and engage in the immediate dialogue. But it doesn't matter if you have to watch the replay. A lot of people are used to upsells. There's no upsell. When you pay for the ticket, you get access to the videos, whether that's now, later, whenever. The second thing is it does come with the workbook. I personally go through and dissect all of the interviews, and I ask questions. And I reframe those questions around the principles so that you can look at every speaker's interview and then relate that to what you're currently going through to help you start processing some things, start processing through some healing. And so that's another thing. And the event is August 5th through the 8th. But the 5th, 6th, and 7th, that's when the recordings are played. One of the most beneficial things that I've always done is had an online panel discussion. And so on the 8th, if you can't mark out any day, then you take your Saturday, since we don't go to the mall all day anymore. You take your Saturday and you say, I'm going to hop on these panel discussions, because about anywhere between no more than 3 to maybe 5 speakers at a time will be live. And so if you chimed into an interview, a lot of these people specialize in counseling and therapy, healing, finances. You can ask them questions, whether it's about that in particular or you resonate with their story. You will be anonymous. You don't have to be on video. You can type in your comments. If you choose, you can come on audibly and ask your questions. But any good summit is going to give you clarity, and it's also going to raise questions. And you get to speak to us directly. And those are also recorded and put inside of the group as well. So this is not just something to make you feel motivated and inspired.
Yeah.
This is not something just so you can say, oh, look, I did something. Let me check it off my list. I did some mindset or some healing work. It is literally set up to set you up to be able to be an action oriented person so that you work through and process your healing going out of 2020. And so that's the biggest thing that I want you to really realize, that this event was cultivated with you in mind. And then last but not least, it is not held on Facebook. I have a private group that's on my personal social media network, which means that we won't be regulated. You know what I'm saying? There won't be any blocking of comments. You won't be put in jail because you said something in a way that somebody didn't like. And even though my brothers and sisters are invited, of all races, if you are willing to allow the sisters to be the one to facilitate the healing, you're in an event that was made for Black men and women by a Black woman, which means that there is a melanated vibe to this. And it's no offense, but so many events in the past, it's Becky and them, and it's like one token Black person. Nah, we all sisters and brothers up on here. And that's another thing that's also a blessing. The fact that two men joined this movement to say, we're going through some of the same things. Let's have these conversations together. So I know I said a lot, but I really just want you all to understand how the vision was cultivated and the bonuses and benefits that come with you being an attendee without it costing you a dime extra.
Well, I'm sold. I have said it. I have said it. I have said it. But until you take the leap and get that ticket of your own and experience it for yourself, guys, I mean, I have no words. I have no words to express how even making the connection to the Authentic Collective platform has transformed me just in the past 5 or 6 months. Because ever since the pandemic, ever since uh, uh, I was a attendee at your last summit, at your business summit, I'm just sold. I'm sold that the community is a beautiful community. It's been insightful. It's been impactful, and I've learned a lot. So where I have made gains over 17 years, I feel like I have made leaps and bounds over the last 5 or 6 months, just being connected. And this is where we have to realize, hello, Keisha, this is where we have to realize where our connections are so important. And you've done that with this summit. And I am looking for the women and men out there to get your tickets. And we look to see you there August 5th through 8th. Again, this summit is hosted by, it is the vision of the August Crenshaw herself, guys. She's here. If you had any questions, I was looking for them in the comment section. I didn't see anything. If you have something you want to ask Miss Crenshaw, please do it now. As we're getting ready to wrap up our video tonight, I believe you are worthy of abundance. Do you believe that for yourself? And what does that look like? Because this is all that matters at this point. Now, we've been in the wilderness long enough. I think this is our ticket to cross over and get the deliverance and reach that next level that we always talk about. We have to know how to use the blueprint and put the blueprints of our lives together as it relates to us. And she's done that. She's done that, and she's got a team of people that have come together to share and to help each and every one of you. I don't believe that there's a story in the 15 speakers that someone is not going to be impacted one way or another. So I appreciate you, Miss Crenshaw, sacrificing your time to be here with us tonight. I am going to continue to promote this. I believe in this. I believe in your vision. I support your vision. I love you, and I appreciate you being here with me tonight. Any last words as we wrap up tonight?
Just thank you, and I love you too.
All right.
You all at the summit, because I know you're going to quit playing and get your ticket.
That's right. That's right. All right, guys, we appreciate you joining us tonight. I am so glad and honored you all took the time to be here with us tonight. All right, y'all see the links for Miss August Crenshaw and her summit there in the comment section. Go ahead and click that link and get your tickets. I am your host, Tricia Bray Smith, author, educator, and public speaker. Our special guest host, Miss August Crenshaw. Good night, everybody.